literally bedridden for the week. They gave me a bunch of medications with the hope to have the clot break down to just kind of minimize, and they didn't work. So the next option was for me to receive an open heart surgery to implant an LVAD, which is left ventricle assist device that will actually aid my heart in pumping blood throughout my body. So post a it was an 8-hour surgery, I woke up with, like a cord, which I can show you the scar, but like a cord that was connected into my right below my right part of my rib cage, and to a battery pack to a power source. So if I was mobile, I would be connected to batteries. When I was stationary and I wasn't moving around, I was plugged into a wall. So for 24 hours a day, in order to power my pump, I had to have power.
And what was going through your mind at that point? Like, you've got all these plugs and they did save your life, but like the quality of life that you might be living, what was going through your mind?
Well, they told me that that having the LVAD was a bridge to transplant. That there was a chance that with having the LVAD, in some cases, the LVAD actually strengthens your heart. It actually rebuilds the flow of what your body was kind of missing. Okay. So it's kind of re-exercising your heart to get back into its function. Right. So I was really going off of that. I'm like, okay, let's give this pump some time. Let's give it a chance. I mean, I really didn't look too far ahead of thinking like what is considered a bad quality of life or anything, because I just wanted to live, honestly. Like, I really wasn't thinking too into detail, because it's like, let me just get out of the hospital. I just want to sleep in my bed. Yeah. And that was it. That's all I could think of at that point. But then, as time, as time went on, post the LVAD, I just started realizing that I was extremely limited. Like, my doctors at the time, I was a very avid cyclist, rode across the country previously, and they told me I couldn't ride anymore. They told me to get rid of my bike. They said for the risk of it, it's just not worth it. If I fell, I could bleed to death because I was on blood thinners. And I couldn't shower without a shower bag. I couldn't really go out of my house without getting into batteries. I wasn't able to really socialize without the fear of someone really not knowing what I was wearing, maybe falling on it or me falling or something. Like, there was just too much risk, and for the sake of putting me from a level of health that I had to going back to the hospital, and I just wasn't ready to jeopardize my heart for any reason.
Okay.
Or my health.
And so then what led up to the heart transplant?
So, according to the cardiologist, they said that I could have had the LVAD from a year to 13 years. They've seen a very wide range of people have it for quite a while. And for me, have gone through the first open heart surgery and knowing and remembering how hard it was to laugh, how hard it was to cough, and the pain that I had, I'm like, I'm not having open heart surgery until they say, Mike, whatever is inside you is not working, or your heart is failing even more, we need to get you a new heart. So in January of this year, I felt just like a really weird tightness of just like a chest pain. Like, it wasn't really like intense like the heart attack. It was just something like whenever I would move, I just would feel it kind of like rubbing. And I went into my cardiologist, and he says, it's nothing, but let's just check your blood to see if there's anything like wrong. So it turned out that my LDH level, which is it reads certain levels of protein when there is a clot present in your body. So typically they don't necessarily know where it is, but they just know that there's a level that's going up to say, we need to give you medication, we need to be monitoring, if there's a clot, because we have to avoid a heart attack, we definitely have to avoid a stroke. So they saw that level, and they immediately admitted me, and at that point we were hoping that one of the tests were either to reveal that it really wasn't a good option, but it was a matter of me receiving a stent that would go inside of my arm at the time, to open up a valve that wasn't really working. I mean, like a vein that wasn't really working, or I would have to have another open heart surgery to replace the LVAD because they found the clot was inside the LVAD. So it was either get another LVAD or a stent, and then not the worst case scenario, but the best case with more potential not so great stuff is the heart transplant. So I'm like, you know what? Like, if I'm gonna have another another open heart surgery, I'm going to just give me a heart. Let's do this. And lucky enough for me, with my condition of me being, of everything besides my heart being really, really healthy, and my mental state was healthy, everything else besides my heart and the pump needed to be replaced. They were able to put me on 1A of the transplant list, so that would make me pretty much, as soon as something came available for my heart, for my size, for my weight, everything, I would be one of the first in the San Diego region to receive that heart.
Wow. And what is the wait time on average for waiting for a compatible match?
Well, so for me, because of the clot that was in my pump, they gave me 30 days on the 1A status. And they say that usually within having that 1A status, you get it pretty fast. It could be a day from me being listed. It ended up being, I was on the 26th day on the list. I was literally just staying in the hospital waiting, because they were waiting for that clot to go down, or for that medication to get to the point where they could release me, which it didn't get to that point. And the day that I was supposed to be discharged, when I actually got to that point, was the day that I found out that I was going to be receiving a heart. So I was admitted January 22nd, and I received the news that I was receiving a heart on February 24th. So I was in the hospital for 26 days, feeling like I do now, waiting for that call.
How is that to want a new heart, knowing that that heart is going to come from somebody who has an unfortunate death? I mean, what can you share?
It is one of the like just the whole process of receiving and knowing how that process is, because they told me at the time that it would probably have to come from someone that was from the ages of 16 to 21, male or female. And then also they don't give you a schedule. You could be sitting in your room and they open the door, and every time that door opens, you're just ready to go, because that's literally how it goes. There's no preparation to say, oh, we might be, like, hey, we found something. You really can't prepare for it. And the feeling of knowing that it's coming from another human being that it just passed, like, I mean, you feel guilty, because it's like they're not here, their family members don't see them anymore. But at the same time, it's like, it's the only chance I have, like, to continue living, and that's all I wanted to do. It's really tough. Like, it's like, I can't imagine the positions of the other families.
Yeah.
It's tough. It really is.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
So, can you share with us some information about this new heart? So, the connection is, I found out through one of my clients that is a good friend of Mike here, that he grew up in New York, and he's here in San Diego, and he has been really attracted to the water and the ocean. He didn't know why, and so he'll share with you in a moment, but it turns out that the man who died, who is in his heart right now in his chest, had a love for the water. So back to Nassim Haramein, and what I downloaded from an inspiration the other week is that when you are really inspired and you've left your headspace and you're in your heart space, you kind of like make a permanent, eternal dent in the matrix of the universe that is eternal and can carry on. So from, I guess, this man's love of